Welcome to Soccer Gaming, and welcome to the channel full of episodes that teach you how to play Raid Shadow Legends. On this channel, you will find helpful guides, builds, and tutorials that will help you better as a player. Whether you are a casual player or a diehard Raid player, there is content for you on this channel. And in today's episode, we are going to go over the portal. I'm going to break down the portal, everything, how it works, all of the mystery shards, the ancient shards, the void shards, and the sacred shards. I'm going to break everything down there. I'm also going to go over how the mercy system works and that type of stuff as well. So that way you, as a new player, or if you're just curious, you can find out how the portal works and everything along the way. So if you'd like to watch that, stick around. So the portal is where you're going to be summoning all of your champions that you don't get in battles. So you can get them through campaigns and stuff and battles like that, but this is where you're going to be summoning them usually with these different types of shards. So there's a mystery shard, which is the most common, easiest to get. There's the ancient shard, which is a little harder to get. There's the void, which only does void, quote unquote, void champions. And then there's a sacred shard that is like the hardest to get, but the most, quote unquote, rewarding. Now, what I mean by that is mystic shard, you can unlock commons, uncommons, and rares. You cannot get a legendary from a mystery shard. You can only get commons, uncommons, and rares. Ancient shards, you can get rares, epics, and legendaries. So this is where you can start actually getting a legendary or even an epic in that matter. You're going to basically be trying to go for that. The void shards are the same as the ancient, except these are only going to be void champions. These are any champions, mystery is any champions, and sacreds are any champions as well. And as you can see here, the sacred shard can open an epic character or a legendary champion there. Now, if you're wondering, well, how does this actually work? Hit the guy here. It'll tell you what it is. The default summoning chances are your percentages of unlocking something. So normally, this is what it is, like 24, 20, or 74, 24, and 1. Ancient, if you unload one of those, you get about 92% chance of getting a rare, 8% chance of an epic, and a 0.5% chance, which means half of a 1% chance of getting a legendary. Same thing with void. And then sacred is normally, this is, I believe this is 1% here normally. Or is it 2%? I don't remember what this is. I'll have to look on my other account. But this is boosted early on because they want you to try to get legendaries through here. This is not normally 12%. And I believe this is like 96 and this is 4 or something like that. But it'll tell you your chances. So every time you unlock or anytime you open a mystery shard, 74% of the time it's going to be common. Uncommons 24% and 1% rare. Now, there is this thing called the mercy system. I would go through here and read it if you really want to understand, but basically what happens is if you're opening ancient shards or void shards, after 20 summons without an epic, so you open 20, you don't get an epic, then you have a 2% chance increase per shard. So if you open 20, you don't get an epic. The next time you're going to have 2% more on the 21st, and then you're going to add another 2% on the 22nd, another 2% on the 23rd. So eventually you're going to get an epic. Same thing with the legendaries here, but it's after 200 without a legendary. So you have to open up 200 ancient and void shards, at least 200 before you start getting increases. Sacred for legendaries after 12. So after you open up 12, everyone after you open up after that, you're going to be getting a 2% increase until you unlock it. And then once you unlock it, this all resets. So say you're doing sacreds and you've done 12 and all you've got are epics, then the 13th you're going to get that 2%, and then say you get it after that, then it resets back down to needing to get to 12 before the increase comes in for the mercy system. But it's nice to see that, like, no matter what, you're eventually going to get one. You're not going to sit here and cram sacreds and just not ever get a legendary champion. You're eventually going to get a legendary champion. Just might be a lot you know, longer than you thought you wanted to last. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to unlock these as you go. Obviously, Sacreds are really hard to get. Voids are hard to get. Ancients are a little easier, but still pretty difficult to get. And then Mystery Champions, you're going to have a ton of them. There becomes points where you're going to have like 400 of these shards that you'll basically unlock 10 at a time, and you'll use them for food for your other champions. But that's basically it for the summoning portal. There's also other things you could do, like fusions, where you unlock these characters, level them up to get fused into this, and then you can actually fuse into better champions. Honestly, the best one to do, or the only real one that's worth, is Rosin Scarhide. He is a legendary, so it's very difficult to eventually get these, but as you're playing, you're going to eventually get all of these characters as rares, or you're going to get these epics that you can turn them into, which epics are going to all fuse into the Scarhide here. So that's what you could do. You could do those 3 fusions. There's other fusions that come in and out of the game, but these 3 are like the main ones that stay here no matter what. Then the last thing is the Fragment summon, and basically what you do is you go through here and you see you have 0 of 100 fragments, which means you need 100 fragments of Pythion to be able to summon him. Now the fragments are you can get these fragments in a bunch of different places, and these are not always available to you. There are ones that are easier to get, obviously, but a lot of events will have you will have the ability to get the fragments from the events. So there'll be a Pythion event where they're going to have a bunch of different events, and you try to get the fragments from those events to be able to unlock this guy. And if you don't, you have to wait basically until the next time they do one, which who knows how long that's going to be. So it's definitely a way if you really want to try hard and try to get him, or try to get a certain one, it's definitely something you want to pay attention to, because you can get yourself a legendary that way as well. So I hope that was a helpful video that kind of explained how the portal works, how shards work, how percentages of chances work, and how the mercy system works. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, feel free to hit that red subscribe button so that you don't miss any Raid Shadow Legends content coming out very soon. If you have any questions, make sure you comment them down below. I read every single comment on every single video, and I will do my best to help answer the question you may have. Till next time, Slacker out.